good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Community Updates and Enlightened Hearts. I'm your host, Michelle White. We have our host, Dr. Regina Hall, and we've got some great information to share with you, the community. We thank you for tuning in every week, every Wednesday, right here on Wjzz Cool TV. You can always catch us on Wednesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and all top streaming social media platforms. And don't forget to like, follow us, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
A lot of people were asking me, well, how do we go to the link? I can't link you in because it's live, so it's not a link that I can give you ahead of time. But if you subscribe to this program, it will always ping you. It'll just say ping when the show comes on your phone. It does. Whatever your sound is for your ping, it'll just notify you that the show is getting ready to come on. So please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. So this evening, at the top of the hour, we always like to give information that's helpful to the community. And Dr. Regina, did you want to share your information first before I get started about your upcoming event?
You can go ahead.
I can go ahead?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll go after.
Yes, ma'am. So, one of the things we're going to be talking about this evening, I'll tell about the two walks that are coming up. First, we have the JECF 5K run that's going to be at Kensington Park on October the 7th. Registration starts at 9:30 a.m. We've been telling you about this every week, and you can go to johnevancashfoundation.org to sign up and walk. Walking is a good exercise, and this is a walk for mental health. So that, again, to go and register, go to www.johnevancashfoundation.org, and I'm going to spell that JOHNEVANCASHFOUNDATION.org. So go there and sign up for this walk for mental health. And actually, they're going to even have Kimmy Horn, who is an awesome jazz artist. She's going to be doing a free concert. So you're going to have walking and some fun. And again, that date is October the 7th at 9:30 a.m. They're going to be in the North Martindale shelter. So go walk for mental health. And then also on the same day, we are going to have a walk to raise awareness for domestic violence. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And, between mental health, October is domestic violence. Okay, we're still in September.
Okay. That's okay.
But we're getting close to
That's
October.
right. That's right.
So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and this will be a walk to raise awareness also on October the 7th. And they're going to have various speakers and health screenings and food and music and vendors. And that will be with Nexus Detroit Company. That's the company that's sponsoring Nexus Detroit. And it's going to be on Finkel at 20700 Finkel in Detroit, October the 7th. Registration starts at 10 a.m. And if you have any further questions about it and you want to sign up to register, you're going to be able to call one of our guests this evening. Ruby, and her phone number is 248 917 3528. Again, that's if you have any further questions, you can call Ruby at 248-917-3528. And what about giving a number for one of you if people want to call? We've got Dr. Robin Cash, and we've got Kim Johnson, and they are board members of the JECF, and they're going to be telling us about that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, those are two walks we have. They'll give us a number in a moment.
Well, we have a number. It's 248 301
2632. So if you want information on the John Evan Cash Foundation walk, it's a 5K walk. You can give them a call at 248-301-2632. And as you know, if you go to my Facebook page, because we want to get into talking to our guests, I won't share all the information, but Community Updates is designed to give you information. A lot of people, what does the Bible say? You perish because of a lack of knowledge. And there are a lot of things and services and things that are available to people that they just don't know about. For instance, if you go to gleaners.org and ForgottenHarvest.org, you can get some free food. Can we say free?
Free.
Free. So, we know that groceries are high. I was just talking with somebody a moment ago. You can't come out of the grocery store without spending $100. But if you go to ForgottenHarvest.org and Gleaners.org, every single day they are giving away free food all across the metropolitan area of Michigan. Now, of course, we have listeners that are here but because these are national organizations, find out what organizations in your community are giving out free food, and they give it out across the the surrounding area. And so it's every day, Monday through except for Sunday, Monday through Saturday. Forgotten Harvest and Gleaners.org are both giving out free food. And I just forgot the name of the other organization. But there's another organization, I can't think of it right now. But there's also a free grocery program. Go on my website, check that out. It's Covenant Daughters is doing that one. It's on my website. And
what city is that in?
that's in Detroit.
Okay.
Covenant Daughters, that's in Detroit.
Okay.
And the deaf community has, well, I'm going to tell about this. So the deaf community has a fish fry coming up, and they also have a day of celebration, but they're giving out free food as well in the city of Detroit over by the University District. But you can see all that on my website. And then also there's a suicide prevention conference, and it's free. September the 28th. What is today? The 27th?
27th.
So this tomorrow. And register, you can still go on and register. You can, people are going to be sharing their live experiences with suicide and giving you messages of hope. And again, we're talking about suicide. We're talking about domestic violence. We're talking about bullying. So suicide. Go on. You might say, well, that doesn't, I'm not, all of, many people have thought about suicide at some point because life can be stressful. Not
Very
that you take it
stressful
to
and
another
challenging.
point, but we've got Dr. Regina here every week who can talk to you. You've got somebody you can call in. And don't forget, let me give the number to call into the station while we're on. Sometimes we get people calling in before we come on and after we come on. You can call in while we're on from 6 to 7 on Wednesdays at 313-355-6018. You've got a licensed professional that is here to talk to you every week. And if you don't know, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you're saying I'm fine in the mind. But the battleground is the mind. And there are different things that are going on with different people, and Dr. Regina is here to talk and be able to share. You don't have to say your name when you call in, but you can just get somebody to talk to and share what's going on. A lot of times it's good to verbalize it.
I think people
ma'am.
find it easier not to say mental illness or mental health. I think they find it easier if we say wellness.
Okay. So for wellness,
Yes,
call in for your wellness.
Yes, because it could be health wellness, and our mental is a part of our health wellness, right? How we
That's
treat
right.
our mind.
That's what the JECF is really about. It's about wellness. So physical and mental wellness, that's the whole part of two pieces, right? And when we advocate for our physical wellness often, hopefully annually, but we don't as often advocate for our mental wellness.
And that's so important.
It is.
So also, before I read your bio, Dr. Robin, there's a Understanding Mental Health and Wellness seminar also that is Wednesday, October the 11th. It is also free. Wednesday, October the 11th. It's on my website, and it's Zoom. So you can, even if you're at work, maybe you can tune in and listen. But it's Understanding Mental Health and Awareness, October the 11th. Oh,
Which
that's
is
the same
also
day.
right, which is also the
ahead.
International Day of the Girl. And I just want to let people know that our Governor Whitmer has declared or proclaimed October the 11th as the Day of the Girl in Michigan. Also, the city of Detroit has proclaimed it as such, as well as Southfield. So we are really excited that the Day of the Girl is being acknowledged and recognized, and it's all about that day, about diversity, inclusion, and equity, understanding what our girls are going through. Our theme is Stand Up Against bullying through respect. And there's a lot of bullying going on, particularly cyberbully that girls engage in as well as boys, but girls talk a lot. We share our feelings and so we can really go off on the internet and do a lot of harm to one another on these social medias. And so we just want to encourage our young ladies in schools to get involved in bringing awareness on that day. You can reach me at 248-648-1733 if you want us to come into your school on October the 11th. We do have speakers, and we even invite your school or organization to participate. Your counselors can lead students on that day. We just want leaders to stand up against bullying on October the 11th, 2023 for the International Day of the Girl.
Wonderful.
Yes.
The International Day of the Girl. Be sure and go. We're going to be reading books and things to students in
so
school.
it's reading, workshops, as well as speakers coming in and doing presentations. So our focus, even though it is our theme, so we can focus on self-esteem, image, conflict resolution, and providing affirmation that day.
Now, someone just texted me, because you can feel free to text your comments and questions as well, or, on YouTube or Facebook, because we're live right now, and they wanted to know about housing. And I shared last week, and I'm going to share it briefly today. There's a program called NACA. NACA is the National Housing Program. It's Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. And you can give them a call at 425-602-6222. So the NACA program will assist you with getting your own home. And they take you through a program where you learn how to take the money that you have and work with that. And they give you down payment assistance to get you into a home. They assist you with, and it could be a home, whatever size home you need. I know, and it's not just for Michigan. This is a national program.
Okay,
I know
very
people
good.
who started here but live in other states, and they've gone through this program because it is a program. It takes you through a series of things to learn how to manage your money and so forth. But you can give them a call. You can go to NACA.com, NACA.com, or you can call 425-602-6222. That's for the NACA program, the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. So, again, go to my website, Michelle Turner White, on Facebook, and I got tons of information, free services and various things, shoes being given away, but check out the website on Facebook. So we've got Dr. Robin Cash, we've got Kim Johnson, and we've got Ruby Martin this evening. And I'm going to start with Dr. Robin Cash, who is a native Detroiter, and she holds a PhD in mechanical engineering from Michigan Technological University. And she's worked at Ford Motor Company for 31 years.
Wow.
And currently the owner of she's currently the owner of Robin Cash LLC Consulting. Is that a engineering consulting?
That's an engineering consulting firm.
Okay, wonderful.
But this is quite the pivot for me.
Okay. Well, I know that you're doing well with it and will continue to do so. For all of those people who are listening that need engineering consulting, give her a call. We're going to be sharing her website and everything. But she's also a professor, associate professor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Correct.
And she's a Six Sigma black belt holder. I started to go for that Six Sigma. That is an awesome training. So congratulations. And it has nothing to do with karate. It's quality, exactly. So what it means is she knows the ins and outs of how to provide quality service to you across the gamut of whatever industry that you're in. That's why she holds a black belt and knowing Six Sigma black belt and knowing how to do that. Congratulations on that. You're welcome. And she's active in promoting the education of STEM for underrepresented youth, and she is the chairman She also is the chairman of the board for the John Evan Cash Foundation, which is a nonprofit aimed to provide financial assistance for college tuition, life mentorship, and mental health services. And that's the John Evan Cash Foundation that is having the walk that we spoke about. I'm going to even hold up the flyer on the 7th of October. So they'll be having this walk on the 7th. So,
5K. Yeah.
the 5K walk.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I called up some friends that I know that do 5K runs regularly, and I said, "Can you come on out and walk? I can't walk 5 miles, 5K, but I can walk some of it."
Right.
And
you
I'm gonna
take
come
over.
out, right? And you take over.
And let's be clear, you don't have to walk the whole walk.
Okay.
You can run.
Yeah, you can run.
run.
It's a walk and run. But you can also come and sit and talk with us and cheer others on. And
Oh, so I can be in the, I'm
you
gonna
can,
walk.
you
I'm
can,
gonna walk
you
some.
can walk some.
I can bring it.
You
No,
can
I'm gonna walk some
And
too.
you should. Yeah, we
The
have
exercise
apple
is
cider,
good.
apple cider
Right.
and donuts. And of course, Kimmy and her great band will be there entertaining the whole
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
So it's a fun family day.
You want to do all the bios right now so that we can get into some convo
I
about
can.
mental health and so
we
forth?
can. And I just want to say you are a well kept secret too. Now, I fussed at Ruby, but you a good fuss.
I know she is.
Right, okay.
I'm get her.
Well, I must say this, and I know my sister Kim Johnson would tell you this, and my mom was really proud of it. So much so that she said that I had a PhD from MIT instead of MTU. I had to correct her, but I was the first African American to earn a PhD from Michigan Technological University.
Awesome!
It is
Congratulations.
Unheard of, right? To be the first at something right now, but it still happens.
It's still
Yeah.
I know.
And I think
right.
you were also the first woman
Yes,
to earn a mechanical engineering degree,
PhD.
PhD,
Mm-hmm.
from that university.
Yeah.
Awesome!
So,
Congratulations!
kinds of
I mean,
firsts, right?
that's awesome.
Yeah, that is
That's awesome. We have to give kudos. When people are doing phenomenal things,
Yes.
and we all need encouragement. Matter of fact,
Right.
someone called me yesterday and I said, "Look, you sound negative. Gotta go. Don't have energy. Not putting no energy in my space for negative comments. Bye bye."
Ah,
You know, and you're right. We do have to be careful on, on what we're giving ourselves over to. I just wanted to say to Kimmy, because I don't have a bio on you, Kimberly. Kim or Kimberly or Kimby? Which one?
No, not Kimmy.
Okay.
Do not call me
the
that
only-
would be Kimmy
That's
Horn.
the-
That would be
Kimmy Horn.
I
That's
think
it.
that's what happened. It switched up in my mind. Forgive me. Yeah, forgive me.
So the only person that's ever been able to call me Kimmy is Robin's daughter Leah. When she was about, 3, decided that I was Auntie Kimmy.
Okay. All right.
And
So-
despite
She's
the
the
fact
only one.
she's the only one,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
Robin was like, Kim hates that. Call her Auntie Kim. I said she can call me whatever she wants as long as she calls me.
Right.
Well, I
That's
know
right.
that you guys are very tight sisters.
Yes.
Very
Which is
lo-
wonderful.
Yeah.
Which is
Loving
awesome.
sisters.
Love seeing that.
I do
And
too.
yes, loving
So
sisters.
she has quite an illustrious background.
Well,
I'm not
tell
so
us,
certain
tell us.
that-
today.
But we don't have her
We don't know anything
information,
about
so
it.
tell us.
We
Just a
don't
little
want to
bit.
spend
Just a
time.
little
Just
bit.
tell us
Okay,
a couple
so-
tidbits.
So
Exactly.
here's the most interesting thing about me.
Oh, okay.
I discovered through Facebook this week that I've lived in 15 of the United States.
Right.
Right?
wow.
So if
Wow,
there was this little deal
interesting.
on Facebook that said it's on my bucket list to visit all 50 states. I visited 49 and lived in 15.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot of
Where to go?
well,
I have visited all but Alaska and Hawaii,
Alaska.
but I've only lived here.
I visited everywhere except North Carolina
Okay.
or North Dakota.
Oh, North Dakota.
Yeah,
Oh.
North Dakota.
Everywhere
Wow.
except North Dakota.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I've been to
Wow.
Alaska.
Isn't it?
Hawaii.
And isn't that awesome though? And sometimes people are getting negative. Well, who you think you are? You've been able to go here. Look, that's a blessing.
Yeah,
It
it
It's
is
a
wonderful.
blessing.
It is, and our parents had an attitude of learning,
Yes.
right? So it's not surprising that the John Evan Cash Foundation is about learning about mental wellness, right? So that's always in the forefront of everything we do. We learn that from our parents at a young age who encouraged travel because in the Jim Crow South, they had no opportunity to do that. So they learned about this country with us,
Yes.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Isn't that
They
wonderful?
really did.
That is
Yeah.
wonderful. I know my husband. He has gone everywhere except Alaska and Maine. I think those are the last two he has to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Um,
awesome.
However, let me just share this. Now, when I think about everyone visiting, so this just goes to show you how people think outside the box. So I'm like, oh, you visit so many places. So I went with him this past summer. No, February. We went to a place he wanted to go, Alabama. He needed to cross that off. So we drove through Alabama. And he said, okay, I'll be here.
He didn't stop, huh? He didn't even get a cup of
So
coffee.
he just want to say he was inside of the
But
state.
there, see, my parents are. My mom is from Alabama.
I'm from Alabama.
And we have, they live way out in the country, but we've been to, is it Mobile?
Mobile.
And
Oh,
where they
the
do
golf.
Mardi Gras. So it's cheating yourself if you don't get the real.
Exactly.
I like
Do
it.
something.
I like
What
it.
it's all
Do
about.
something in the
He didn't
state.
care. So I did make him get out. I was like,
Okay.
I'm sorry. You
You
gotta
touch
get out
the
the car.
ground. You
I don't
gotta
care
touch
if you
the
go
ground.
run around the
Right,
car. I
right.
don't care what you do,
Go
but
to
let's
Montgomery,
get
you know?
out.
Yeah,
Right.
Historical.
Historical.
Yeah,
they're
Birmingham,
In
Selma.
Birmingham.
That was
So-
hilarious, though. I
That
was
is
like, that's
fun.
how we visit.
But the places that I've been to, like Utah, to Snowbird, and to Alaska,
yeah.
we went to Fairbanks.
And the
Fairfax,
caves. Did you go in any
Montana.
caves
Oh my
around the
gosh.
country?
Yeah. and
So
just,
many,
you know,
just
we
so
did
many
That's
exciting
nice.
things.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But come on, tell us
Yes,
about
okay, but here I'll
Ruby.
tell about Ruby. Ruby Martin has been a disciple at Great Faith Ministry International, GFMI, for over 30 plus years.
Yes,
a long time.
Yes.
During her discipleship under Apostle W.T. and Dr. Beverly Y. Jackson, she has served in different roles as a leader and teacher. She has worked at different well-known corporations in the Metro Detroit area as a computer developer and quality assurance analyst. Currently, she is a prevention specialist. You jumped. Manager at Metro East after school summer
That's
program.
amazing.
That's a huge jump, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know what happened in 2008? The economy went down.
It did.
So at that time, it was difficult to find a job in that particular arena. So a girlfriend of mine that worked with me at CompuWare at that time had a godfather who had a business, and that's how I got into
Wow.
Metro East.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Wonderful.
that is so Metro East after school program. There she's a teacher, youth ages 6 to 18 about alcohol, tobacco, and other drug prevention, ATOD, and Popvin life skills.
Yeah, those
Okay.
are the skills we use.
Training at Detroit Public Schools and various private schools as well. So here we present Ruby Martin.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. So Ruby, tell us. So we just talked about how you made this jump, right? And it seems like you've stayed in it, because 2008.
Yes.
That's a long.
Actually, when the economy went down, I still tried to stay in it. So I did go into the school, Detroit Public Schools, and some of the private schools as well. So I was still able to do tutoring and things of that nature with, the background that I had in computer
Okay.
background. So I was still able to do that.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I understand. So you're still doing the computer, the
Yes.
developer now, but you're also doing the teaching and training
Exactly.
in alcohol,
Wonderful.
tobacco.
Right.
Yeah, that
ATO.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, such wealth in this room.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, well, I'll start off. Tell us about a little more. I know it's a 5K walk. We talked about that.
5K walk and run, and then we have the mini concert. So I want to go back and then interject. Everyone in the room knows, but for everyone that's listening and watching, my son, John Evan, passed away just under 5 years ago. He accidentally drowned just 2 or 3, I don't know, it was 3 or 4 days before his college graduation. So, it's been a journey to get to the point where I can say that without crying. But
Right before his graduation.
right,
Wow.
3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
So we stood up this foundation in his honor. So partly because he had all these checks that were gifts, and we did reach out to all the people who had gifted him and his cards that we were collecting to give to him, and we put it in a foundation account, and we gave those gifts away. and we awarded a scholarship that very next year to his alma mater.
Awesome.
And so ever since then, we've had we have an endowed scholarship at Old Dominion, and that we are currently funding and gifting scholarships. This is our fourth one that was awarded this year.
Wow.
We have 2 scholarships with the AME Church, one with Oak Grove, which is our home church where he was baptized, and then Bethel in Hampton, Virginia, where the Connectional Church where he attended while he was in college. And we also support 2 organizations locally. We have the Covenant House of Michigan, House of Hope,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
also
I'm familiar with
support
Covenant House.
Meals on Wheels
Okay.
that feed the what we would call the disenfranchised, and I'll tell you why, because Kim will elaborate on that. But these are senior citizens. Why is that their only meal? Where are their family members, and why is that their wellness check? So we are supporting people in a way that John Evan, because he was very philanthropic in his spirit, and so we're wanting to continue that work.
Was he graduating from high school or
College.
from
College.
college?
That was his
25.
college-
How old
that
was
his
he?
25.
25.
That was his college graduation that
Wow.
he passed away right before.
My condolences.
Oh,
Our
yes.
condolences.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. So do you want to say anything else, Kimberly?
So I think there are people that do call me Kim Barely,
Okay.
and I accept it because she's a 90-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So she can call me whatever she wants to.
Exactly.
Is she 100? She just had her
Oh,
centennial.
sorry, she's 100 years
Centennial.
old.
Wow.
She's 100
Yeah.
years
Oh,
old.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
Who is this
Right.
that's 100?
Norma Williams.
Just
And
a friend
she's
of yours?
Happy birthday.
My sister's college roommate's mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Happy birthday.
Yeah, she's 101 this year, and we attended her party. You know, the thing that I would add about that, so Robin talked about giving to people that feel like they have no one else that will look out for them.
Right.
That was John Evans' mission.
Yeah.
I mean, from the time he was small, he'd stop and talk to street people.
Oh.
Why are you living in a box? Is there something you need?
Yeah, that was just a,
His thing was, can we buy them breakfast? Right? He especially thought about young men, particularly men in urban environments that were disenfranchised. That no matter what they did, they couldn't win. Right? Driving while black, can't win. Right?
Wow.
He recognized that he came from a privileged family. Privileged by means that he could go to college. If he suffered from illness, mental or otherwise, it didn't matter. He still could go to college and finish. He got the best care no matter what, right? He knew his mother was going to find the best doctor in the world to cure a zit on his face, right?
Karen Heidelberg.
Right.
That is my doctor as well.
Yeah.
So,
I used to go to the father.
I mean, and I'm serious when I say that, right? And he knew it. He also knew that there were a lot of people his age, particularly young men of color, that did not have that same advantage. That they didn't have a mother or grandmother or grandfather or siblings or extended family and friends that were going to always look out for him no matter what.
Yeah.
He could wreck a car and people would say, "Are you okay?"
So, what made you all do mental wellness? Because statistically, in the United States, 1 in 5 adults live with mental illness.
Right.
Right. And so, well, there are 2 reasons. One, his sister and he both were psychologists. Leah has gone on to become a licensed art therapist, and John Evan wanted to be a life coach. And so that's one of them, right?
Okay.
And then, as unluck would have it, he was diagnosed with a mental health issue as a rising senior, which was under control. But but it's a balance. It's a challenge all the time. And so those 2 reasons especially.
Okay.
But I also want to say one other thing. I want to say, with all sincerity and extreme understanding of the commitment and the sacrifice our sponsors make.
Right.
And
Yes.
so we've had Cornbread,
The restaurant.
Patrick Coleman, has supported us since the beginning.
Mhm.
We've had Kimco, which is Leon Richardson and Cheryl Richardson, and they have been a support. Of course, John Evan Cash State Farm, his dad. And we've had Women's Life, JATEM
Yes,
chapter,
yeah.
who has
Yes.
supported us from its
Which
from
we're
the
all a
beginning.
part of.
Oh,
You're right.
Yes.
And then we've also so
Amazing.
thankful and blessed to have Henry Ford Health be
Awesome.
a signature sponsor this year. And
Yeah.
this speaks volumes to the
Yeah.
community and the extended community, which is our healthcare system's support of our mission. And then one other thing, we do have focus groups. I did say one, but I meant two.
You
That
take your
could be
time.
mine.
We've got an hour.
We have a focus group that was that we're running through the rest of the year, and hopefully early. And we have some commitments from a partner school, and of course our partner church, Oak Grove AME. And so I want to, and it's a community church right in the Oak Grove AME area, which is Pembroke between 8 and 7.
Right.
And so we want to have workshops that will speak to mental wellness or just wellness and how pivotal and important mental wellness is and how to have those conversations.
So do you have any set up already?
We
Or
are
you're working
scheduling
on that.
them.
You're scheduling
We are
that.
scheduling
So
them.
while people are listening, I can guarantee you that if 1 in 5 people suffer with mental
Right.
Right.
needing mental wellness,
Yes.
then they're listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Call
right.
in at 313-355-6018. Or if it's not for you, get someone on the phone
Exactly.
to tune in right now that can call in, talk to Dr. Regina, hear the things we're talking about, call in, ask questions about challenges that maybe you're going through. Because one of the things that I found is that people always think that they're the only ones going through something.
Yeah.
We
Well,
all
yeah,
have gone
that's
through something.
true.
And you'll find that many times somebody else has gone through exactly what you've gone through.
And perhaps the person sitting right next to you.
Exactly.
Well, the thing about it though, people feel very isolated, and your mind actually is turning against you. It's telling you things, very negative things, right? So you're not thinking about people going through what you're going through. You really
Think you're the only one.
you think you're the only one, and you're feeling pretty down and depressed and anxious and everything else that comes with that. And so one of the things that I encourage people, that when someone is in that space and saying you don't understand, you don't know what I'm going through, the worst thing that we can say is everybody been through what you It's one of the worst things
Right.
we can
Never
say.
say that.
No, you can't say that. But what you can say is, I'll learn. I really want to hear more about what you're going through. I can see that it's really tough for you. That we can begin to walk in their shoes.
Have
'Cause
some
very important.
empathy.
That's
We
true.
need empathy. We really do. And Ruby, I just want to pivot to you. Tell us about domestic violence, because I think the numbers are the same, right? 1 out of 5.
Yes.
Yes.
It is. Well,
Yeah, and I was going to say with that segue, if you can spend your mental wellness once you finish, Ruby, because clearly people who stay in domestic violent situations
Correct.
have some kind of mental
Yes.
Yeah, issues. Yeah.
They're so connected, right?
Right, they are.
So basically, in 1996, my sister was a victim of domestic violence, or her husband shot her. And
Our condolences.
Yeah.
when I became a part of Nexus Detroit, I'm on the board for that. It's a nonprofit organization, and Herb Alexander is actually the founder of it. So I worked with this organization for a while, and so he asked me to come on board and help with this walk. So this will be our 3rd year doing this walk.
Okay.
And
And
it
how many
has-
years have you all
This is
done
our
yours?
4th annual.
Oh, okay, so you
Oh,
guys are right
wow.
neck and neck and
Right.
doing these walks. Okay.
Exactly, and it has been such a blessing because it's dear to my heart. So basically, we are excited about doing this walk. We've had a lot of sponsors, and the reason that he started this walk was in 2020, when
Pandemic.
the pandemic hit. We know that a lot of people was a product of domestic violence. So he also have a company called H&R Processing Company, and he noticed that a lot of people their rate was going up high for PPO. And ladies were calling in to, try to get some protection, that type of thing. And so, in the process of doing that, he said, wow, we should be able to do something about that, because a lot of those women that called in wasn't able to afford the money to pay for the filing of the
PPO. Okay.
And so, as a result of that, because the person that they live with left them, and so they don't have the money. So as a result of that, he decided to, okay, let's do this walk, because what happened is they had the money to do the filing, but they didn't have the money to do the serving. So this walk that we're actually doing will help ladies and men, because there were men that's going through it as well.
Right.
That will be able to have the money to pay for a PPO and for the protection that they needed. So it's a really, how can I say it, a win for win situation, because we connect with AmeriCorps, YWCA, and also DPD, Detroit
Public school. DPS?
Police Department.
Oh, police department. Okay.
Right, and they're the domestic violent area. So the funds that we raise for this walk, we actually give them to those organizations so that they will be able to get their serving done.
Oh, good.
Wow.
When they have
It
to.
really goes right to help people right away.
Exactly. And so what happened is there's also the 4th precinct, that if someone who needs to have information on how to fill that PPO out, they can actually go there and ask for Maya, and she will assist you and
Go
help.
where? Which location are they
The
going?
4th
The precinct?
It's on 4th Street.
Downtown Detroit.
Yeah, downtown.
Okay.
So Ruby, I'm sorry to interrupt. You mean to tell me that if you need an order of protection, you have to pay for it?
I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing.
You do.
That is unfortunate.
Yes, yes, you have to pay for it, and I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure the cost.
Is that only for domestic violence? Because if I beat you up,
You gonna beat me up?
the police are going to come and arrest me, and I would assume they're going to file an order of protection, like I can't come around you.
Right.
No,
And
they
it'll
don't
cost
do
me
that.
nothing.
They don't do that.
I would
Right.
have to do it.
Yeah, you would have to do it.
And
You have
that's
to
what
protect
that's
yourself.
what happened. These ladies, they have to do that, and they didn't have. Some of them didn't have the funds to do it.
So
And
I
let's
was
talk
today
about
years
domestic
old.
violence for a moment. I know I used to run a women's home, and sometimes people were domestic. They were being abused,
Right.
and they would come, and we would take them to a place far away, different. Because there are, for those of you who need to know, there are places that you can go.
Right.
Yes.
But then the women would go right back
They go
to
right
the
back.
man, and that just
It
went
goes back to
huge.
their mental wellness.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
The
have
state that they're in.
Stockholm
Come on
syndrome,
now. Talk about
or
it.
you have
What is
some-
Stockholm
really?
syndrome?
Come on.
So
Come on.
Stockholm syndrome is when you start believing
Believing the
that your perpetrator actually has your best interest at
Yes.
heart. Yeah, that's called Stockholm
And
syndrome.
that you did something wrong.
Yeah, it's
or
really
to
is.
And I'm-
deserve
they
that.
treated
Or
me
you
this way because
deserve
of
that punitive.
Right.
Well, they only hit
Exactly.
me because I did this and that and the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
they start.
And they
Well,
don't
and it's
mean that.
easy. Well, let me say this: it's a brainwashing that goes on, and it's over a course of time. So remember the girl Elizabeth, who was kidnapped from her family, and they actually found Elizabeth. Elizabeth she had to be reprogrammed
Yeah.
because she wouldn't even leave his side. It's a programming that goes on. It's pretty deep.
You'd get reprogrammed already.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm gonna
why
leave that right
Well,
there.
that's why I want to just. It's so wonderful that domestic violence
Yes.
month happens to be October, because World Mental Health Day is October 10th, 2023. So it's
Wow.
interesting that it's
Tied in
layered
together.
inside
Yes.
there, because I
Exactly.
believe there's so much to be said for people. I don't care who you
Yeah.
are,
Yes.
whether you're a woman, a man,
Man, yep.
whether you're adolescents, and even if you're a child, and you know that
You
the way
experience
you're
that too.
being treated is not right. When you look at it on television, you'll say, why is that person doing that to that. And if that's happening to you, then you need to take the steps, and hopefully you can at one day be strong enough.
And
to
even
take
when
the
people
steps.
just
Well,
speak
Wait
negatively
1 second.
to the
Hi,
people.
do we have a
Oh,
caller?
we have a caller. Yes,
If-
caller. Are you there? Speak up a little louder. Okay, we can't hear you. Please call back. I'm sorry, I missed the screen.
No, I was waiting for Robin to finish. I didn't miss it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
But
didn't
I have a
interrupt you.
question that a lot of times people, if you're speaking negatively, you could be down. You don't have to be physically abusing
Right,
someone.
it's physical.
But
Mhm.
mental abuse is just as bad when
Well,
I'm going
it's
to browbeat you
emotional.
about who you are not and you didn't do this.
Well,
and
it's
That's
emotional. It's financial.
Mhm.
There are so many. If you get the
Areas.
wheel, there's so many areas where you can abuse someone. And you have to remember too, is that you really have bought into this worthlessness. You really have. I mean, and it could have already started. So let me just. It could have started from childhood. It just
Right.
didn't have to.
And many things start from
Well,
childhood.
It really
Yeah,
does.
because that's actually what happened to, like, my sister, with her husband. He was actually older than her, but how he
Okay,
would
wait,
treat her.
just hold your thought. Hi, caller. Hi. You have called Community Updates and Enlightened Hearts.
We can't hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear a small
Yeah, I can
breathing.
hear her breathing. Hello?
Can you speak up a little louder? Okay, well, do me a favor. We can't hear you, so feel free to text. Or if you're on YouTube watching us, send your comment in. If you're on Facebook watching us, send your comment in. Write it in, and I will read it off. I do apologize for us not being able to hear you. Caller. Try to say something else, because I think you're still there. Okay. I
Thank you.
apologize. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah.
Please go ahead and write your comment in. I'm looking at comments now, so please write it in if you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. You
So
were talking one of
I did just have a question though, because something you said resonated with me. A close family friend was a victim of domestic violence, almost died. And when it was all said and done, she loved her husband.
Yeah.
No
They
one had the right to be judgmental.
Right.
He's in prison, thank God, for 28 years. Right? So he did get arrested and prosecuted.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
But I have another friend that's also a victim of domestic violence. But it's verbal, it's mental, it's controlling.
Yes.
And it's
yes.
I almost feel like it would be better if he just beat her. Because then I think she'd recognize the abuse. A lot of
So
women, I
then,
think, get treated that way and they don't recognize the abuse because he never hit me. But you're still scared to move. So
And ask permission to even go to the restroom and look over to see if it's okay if I move.
Well, that's how it was for my sister. If we were close.
I'm serious.
That is the truth because he would sit right next to her. She couldn't really talk to family or anything like that freely.
It's an isolation.
I
You're
just
right.
had someone try to call me. You can't call me online. Oh, maybe you could. I guess I could have picked it up.
That's true.
I could have,
Yeah.
but I
there you
hung
go.
up on it.
Well, give them the number again, maybe.
313-355-6018. Now, that's the number to the station. I guess if you want to call me, but I don't want to be rude, you can call me at 248-238-4863. I don't mind giving my number out on, because if you call me incorrectly, you won't do it twice.
Oh, Lord. Well, Ruby, so you was talking about your sister, and she couldn't move, she couldn't do anything. Sounds similar to their friend.
Exactly. And I remember my mother, she came home that year before she was killed. And my mother was telling her, she said, I just got a feeling that something is going to happen. And she said, oh, no, he'll never do anything to me. So she was in that state of the
Had he been beating her up?
No, it was just the verbal
Verbal abuse.
Mental abuse.
Yeah.
And then finally he did.
Shot her.
Exactly.
And see, that's what I worry about Kim's friend, because he just tells her she's disgusting. And to me, it escalates to a point of, now you think you are disgusting.
Right.
And everybody thinks
And
that.
you deserve such
Right.
horrendous treatment.
And it's visible in her person.
Yeah.
We got
Okay.
another caller. I think I can hear something.
Yeah.
Caller, can say something? Good evening, caller.
Very faint.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I
Go
can hear
ahead.
something outside the studio, but go ahead, caller.
You can-
What
Yeah.
about the men? The question
Yes.
is, what about the men who suffer from domestic violence? And that's true. It's not
Yeah,
just
it's
women.
not just women. It's
There are men that
as well.
suffer
Yes.
from it from other men as well as other women.
That's
Men
true.
are taught not to hit women, and they get abused.
Well, and the irony of that lesson being taught not to hit a woman, they oftentimes, and I use Tiger Woods, and I know what he was doing was not right. But when his wife allegedly hit him with a golf club, she should have gone to jail.
Mm-hmm.
But
That was a weapon. to
it was
kill.
a weapon. Now, if a man had hit me with a golf club, he would be put under the jail. So I do,
Exactly.
to your point of, oftentimes we don't think about men being abused,
Yeah,
but
they do.
clearly they can be abused, and in the same punishment should be afforded, and men shouldn't be afraid to step up just because they won't. Physically, they're stronger often and can
Okay,
kick the person
caller,
down.
we hear the call coming in. Go
But
ahead.
really, a man should feel comfortable and justified in reporting it.
I want to
what
say something to that. Hi, caller. How can we help you? You have reached community updates and enlightened hearts. Can you hear us?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Woo!
Finally. Hello.
Hello.
So I can't look at the screen because.
Oh.
Okay. So very interesting topic that y'all having tonight. I'm blessed to be looking at y'all and listening to the topic that's going forward. My question is about domestic violence and mental illness when it comes to a woman, and I guess sometimes a man, living in domestic violence, and how much is it known that it is a form of mental illness within that home?
Yeah, so, you guys want to speak to
No,
that?
you go.
Okay. This is the thing, right? Domestic violence is about control. It's about subduing the mind and the emotions, and however which way you do it. It can be verbally, it can be physically. So it's about subduing. Who has the mental illness? So you can say that the woman is dealing with maybe some low self-esteem, some worthlessness that's going on, but it also could be programmed. Because I did have a client years ago. That was not her issue. And her and this gentleman got together and the programming started. And it was let me say this, it's very, very subtle because they buy you flowers, they take you out. They tell you how much they love you. The relationship will move fast. You believe that this is your guy, and he telling you that that you are the woman for him. And so you going down this road, and then boom. I heard a woman speak that her husband literally didn't come out until their honeymoon. It is not necessarily automatically known, okay? The other thing, though, is that sometimes women and men refuse to see the signs of what's going on. So he may hit you, he may do something to you, and then you make excuses for the behavior, right? So I'm very careful to talk about it in terms of giving it a automatic diagnosis. It can lead to depression. It can lead to anxiety. It can lead to suicidal ideation. Domestic violence can do that to you. Now, in terms of the men, right? So it is correct that men are domestically assaulted. Yes. However, I will say the numbers are lower for men, and not only are they lower, but women used to, and I'm gonna put a caveat on that, is because women, when they start being violent towards a man, it was known that they were hurting. that this is the way that it wasn't necessarily about control as it was about them being violent. However, I do believe now at this
got
point
another
we
caller.
have we have come to conclude that now with women and men, you have more of the control going on. And so hopefully that answered your question regarding mental illness. I'm not so quick to say there is a wellness issue going on, but to give it a diagnosis, I'm not so quick to do that.
And may I ask this question to the caller? Were you talking about would there also be a mental wellness issue from the abuser? Is that what you were also asking?
Because that can come from a parent.
Oh, he hung up, but
No, I didn't hang up.
Oh,
Can y'all hear me?
yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So no, when it came to mental illness, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
When it came to mental illness, I wasn't just referring to the lady that's being
Right.
in the domestic violence. Both parties.
I
Right.
did.
Now, I
answered both.
understand
You
that
right.
it can be a
I did
control
both,
issue
yeah.
from the aggressive party that's doing the domestic violence.
Right.
But where does it come into now? Both of them or either one of them is suffering from mental illness because of that condition.
Oh, okay. All right. So can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
So mental wellness after they've been abused.
So the after effects of it. Yeah. So I did say that after you can deal with depression, suicide ideation. You can even deal with Stockholm disorder. I mean, it can be a lot of things.
And
it can
tell
be
us again what
post-traumatic
Stockholm
stress
disorder is.
disorder. So Stockholm,
Programming.
yeah,
Programming.
it is. It is literally programming.
But they just need to seek help. But the question is, will they?
Well, most of the times when it's domestic violence, it takes a woman, and I say a woman because the research has shown that more. Because men are really not going to come out about it. Let
But
me
you
just
know
say
what?
that
A lot
too.
of men
So
get
they say
sexually abused.
that too, and that's 1 out of 13 boys but before the age of 17 have been sexually abused. But just to his question, when you talk about domestic violence, God, you made me. I forget my thought. Okay, not you, but I forgot my thought. Okay, it's gone. It's just gone.
Let me ask can I ask a question though about that? Because I also
Sorry.
I also wonder if you made me lose my thought.
You guys, I'm
Caller,
gonna
are
come
you
on that
still
side.
there? Here, anybody want an ink pen to write yourself down?
Okay, a lot of
Caller, are
times,
you still there? Are you still there, caller? Okay, because somebody else was trying to call in also.
maybe
Please
somebody
feel
did.
free to
Okay,
call back.
yeah.
Call back.
So what happened in childhood when a child is mentally, and physically?
Here comes the other caller calling back.
Because I remember when I was
Caller, are you
doing-
there?
subbing in the school system,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the fourth graders, and this little boy, he was very active, and so
Yes. Can you hear me?
a couple weeks later,
Yes, we can hear you. Were you
his
done with
whole
your question?
personality changed.
And that's a telltale sign.
Yeah,
There's some trauma has occurred.
right.
That's what I was going to say.
And it usually happens when
post-traumatic
you're
stress
young.
disorder.
Yes.
Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
PTSD.
that has been me calling back and forth. Sorry about that, Miss Ruby.
Okay, go ahead, caller. You
So-
know him too?
So I can
I
make
know him
it clear.
too.
Okay, so I was raised in a domestic violence home,
Yeah.
and I've always. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Don't listen to your radio.
I'm not. I'm trying to just listen to y'all. But anyway, the thing is, yes, ma'am. Hold on. Oh my goodness. So that's been me calling back and forth because for some reason the system shut. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I was raised in a domestic violence home, and I always questioned if my mother was dealing with mental illness.
Okay.
Right? As a child, you'll wonder why would your mother stay in such a condition like that. And then as you get older and you see the results, so to speak, of all that physical violence. And so that my question was to the panel is it, how can I put it? Has it ever been looked at, living in the domestic environment, that there's some form of mental illness or disorder that's going on.
Yes.
The thing is, though, so let me just say this: it's really hard to diagnose someone without them being present, right? And you can wonder that why is someone staying in a relationship and allowing that abuse to happen? That abuse, though, didn't start off that way. Most of the time, it does not start off in a relationship. Remember, there's a grooming that goes on in these relationships, and you become bonded to that. You really do. So and that is, and I'm really sorry to be honest with you that you have gone through this, and this have been a wondering of why your mother would allow such brutality to happen to her, and for you to even be exposed to it. It really makes my heart go out to you, and even having to deal with that. There are many reasons why people stay. It can be financial, why someone is staying. It can be because that is the person's father and they don't want to break up the family. It can be many, many reasons why people stay in those conditions. And I believe that's what the real question is: how come they stayed in that situation, knowing what was going to happen? Even to this day, many women believe that they can change a man's heart if they do X, Y, and Z.
Do everything they say.
That's it. I mean,
This is the same caller.
so it just depends,
Right.
you know.
Well, I also think sometimes people stay because of shame. I failed, right? So they take on
It's
responsibility.
5:56, but can we answer the call? It's 5:56, but can we answer the caller? Caller.
I just called back. So
Okay,
just
but
continue on.
we've got only like 1 minute.
Keep going. I just called back because the phone keep on cutting off on me.
Okay. Well, we
Okay.
appreciate you calling.
But I
And
do
Yes.
believe that there is a sense of shame or failure.
yeah,
I failed my relationship. I failed
That's
my
it.
commitment.
My
That's
marriage.
right.
I wanna keep
right.
it.
I
So-
want to keep it. I want to keep my family together.
Exactly.
My parents didn't stay together. This is not what I wanted for my
Right.
kids.
Or for
you know.
financial reasons.
Or
And that's what my
financial.
point. It
Yeah.
can be
So,
for
caller,
many
did you have
reasons.
any other quick thing that you wanted to say before we give out our guests information on how to reach them? Did you have anything else you wanted to say, caller?
I think it's called.
Well, we want to invite you, if you can still hear us, to join either walk and
Yes.
become a part of it and participate. Because I can only imagine how much this may be still impacting you.
Yeah, so we've got the JECF, the John Evan Cash Foundation Walk. It's a 5K walk, October the 7th. Just go ahead and listen to us, caller. We don't have an opportunity to answer the call right now. So go ahead and listen in. October the 7th, you can go to johnevancashfoundation.org and register today. And you've got the Walk to Raise Awareness for Domestic Violence. That is also October the 7th. And you can call, give them your number real quick for the John Evan Cash Foundation Walk.
It was 248
301.
Okay, Ruby, give me-
301 2632.
Yes, 208-248-301-2632.
Correct.
That's for the John Evan Cash Foundation. And then for the Walk for Domestic Violence, you can, it's going to be on Finkel, also the same day, October the 7th. And you can give Miss Ruby a call at 248-917-3528. Again, 248-917-3528. We thank you all for tuning in
Yes,
this evening
thank you.
to
Yeah,
Community
thank you.
Updates
Thank
and
you.
Enlightened Heart.
Thank you,
We
guys.
thank you, caller, for calling, and we're going to have to elaborate more on this topic some
right,
more
yeah.
because it's very
Yes,
important. So again, we thank you all for tuning in to Community Updates,
And Enlightened Hearts.
and don't forget to hit like, subscribe,
And
and share.
All right.
Woohoo.